Welcome back to my garden, everyone. Today I'm going to be planting up a front section of beds that I've been waiting to do since I originally put in these shrubs and plantings last fall. I'm really focusing on having a shade garden, although I probably will pop in a couple of extra things. The first stop is to go to the plant nursery and see what we have to plant. This is one thing that I really want to plant today. This is red hydrangea. I did grow this in my winter sowing last year, and I have 5 pots, so it wasn't great germination, but this will be great in the shade and add some color, and hopefully, because it won't be as crowded out by other things compared to my white pink hydrangea and my beds in the back, it'll actually flourish and thrive. I guess actually I had more of this than I expected. I have 7 pots. A couple of them are pretty small, but I think that they might have some root systems that'll do something. Also, just a quick detour to look at these seedlings. These are pink corydalis seeds that I sowed last summer, or late summer, spring, and they are coming up finally, so that's exciting. I am going to plant a bunch of this really beautiful heuchera, and I don't know, maybe I should keep a couple of the really big ones for planting in the back bed. I do have some larger ones that I had over in pots here that I could put in the back bed where nothing will grow, but the giant caramel heuchera would grow. And these ones, actually a bunch of these, are actually the seeds I collected off of that plant. Oh, and I have a little astilbe here. I don't know what color this will be, but I grew this from seed in my winter sowing last year, and it's just been sitting in the driveway like most things because I wasn't up to really do much gardening last fall. In the interest of using things that I have, I'd been thinking about going to Home Depot and buying some packets of impatiens because I'm curious whether impatiens will do well in that bed. However, I do have all of these mums that we propagated together last year. They just need to be cleaned up a little bit. I have not touched them since. I think if we pinch them all, they'll branch out. And honestly, if you've ever watched any of those videos on how people at nurseries get liners and then create those pots that you buy in the fall, they start off a lot smaller than this. So I could do a whole wave of these, maybe in the front of the beds where they will get some sun, and I think these will all be purple. I was also thinking about, because obviously the shade beds are going to be very leaning into the spring blooming plants. I also have these pink caryopteris, which I don't think get that large. Oh, look, there's a little marigold. I should plant that somewhere else. These are not going to get, I think, that big, maybe like 2 feet tall at most. And that would be a nice fall color, although I wish that they were blue. So that would be pink and purple, and not really shade per se. I'm also going to pop these out of these pots and put some dahlias in here and use these pretty large heuchera. For reference, here's some of the white hydrangea that I had. I think that this was supposed to be white pink, but it turns out to be white in my garden. It's a pretty flower. I did the Chelsea chop on my monkshood, and it only now seems to be just kind of coming back. I was very unhappy for a little while. Here's an update on the mountain laurels. They're still in here. There are still some that are alive. And looking at these seedlings reminds me, I have a lot of violas and pansies in here in my winter sowing jugs that I should put up front as well. So actually I should probably not be buying impatiens. This is looking really nice after the rain. I think when I'm done planting, I'll just do a nice crisp edging there. And this is mainly where I'm planting. I did put a bunch of foxglove in here just to fill the space. And it also looks like the squirrel has been here. But you can see so many good oak leaf hydrangeas, and also some of my moss is coming back. This was a very mossy area, so I'll probably just leave that. So we're gonna do some planting on that side too, but there's not as much room. But now that it's actually rained and this plant is hydrated, look at this flower. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. The last time we looked at it, there's a little ant. The last time we looked at it, I don't think it was this open, and some of the flowers at the top were a little bit dry. You can see that the fertile flowers are there for the pollinators. And it's so gorgeous. I have another one coming up too here. Okay. I think I want to repeat the red heuchera throughout the planting scheme, so we will be digging up some of these foxglove and putting them a fair bit apart, not quite underneath. I do have another package of these. I might leave some of the foxgloves in. And let's see. I won't put any behind there. I'll put some foxgloves there. And let's see. The hydrangea. I think I'll do a wave of those here. And these were pretty slow to get going, so I'm not that worried about them being small right now. And this will still be, I think this might get bigger, so actually I'll put this behind, because I only have one of them. And I'll put these nice red ones over on the other side. I am going to have a bunch more heuchera this fall once the stuff in my winter sowing goes up. You know what? I do want to go and grab those. I'm not sure how well these are going to pop out. Those can be pretty well. Okay, this is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to do the mums in a line along here for the fall color this year. Behind that, I'm going to put 3 pink caryopteris just to see if those work well. Then I'm going to have a hydrangea in a wave, and then the heuchera will do the rest. So, oh, and the still be just going back there. So that's what we're gonna plant out right there. In case you were wondering about these mums that we planted last year, let's look at the root system. Wow. It's pretty good. I think those will take off. I'm gonna pinch them so that they branch. That front bed is actually in the front of my house, and a lot of people are walking by, like literally right next to me. So I'm probably not gonna film up there unless my husband comes out and he can hold the camera for me. So this is the before here. I don't show the front of my house that much because I don't get up here to garden as much. But you can see that last fall I did plant along the front strips of the house here and here. And I have an oak leaf hydrangea. That's the only one that I've purchased. I have some smooth pink hydrangeas. I have some little limes, and then I have some of the miniature oak leaf hydrangeas. So that's the order here. My grandmother-in-law might have breathed into existence the idea that she wanted a hollyhock garden next year. So I started a lot of the rust-resistant perennial variety of hollyhocks. These are Antwerp hollyhocks by Swallowtail. And I sowed these on the 9th, and it's I don't know, it's been about 2 weeks and I am still missing some of them, although they are still coming up. You can see there, and there's a couple small ones. I am actually going to plant these myself, and I'm really interested to see whether this rust-resistant variety works. They're usually called fig leaf hollyhocks, and I thought that they might do better if I start them inside and keep them from developing the rust, because they'll only be bottom watered. And then perhaps if I plant them out in the fall, and I don't know, maybe they'll just do better. Some of the trays still have not given me much germination, but I double sowed a couple of them, and one of those trays that I double sowed has now started to pop up additional ones. So I'm just gonna prick those out and stick them into the empty cells. So hopefully at the end of the day, I have about 50 hollyhocks. So I'm inside, it's really late. I did finish that front bed, and I also did pots over on the side. I refreshed those. I'd had heuchera, violas, and purple alyssum, and I put dahlias, cosmos, a bunch of other different things in there. And I also did a bunch of potting up when it was dark in the garage, because that's what I do for fun. I did 2 trays of Bowman's root, 2 trays of monkshood, and a tray of pink chelonis. Anyways, I've got to shower and go to bed, so thank you so much for watching. Bye!